Britain may never bring its Reaper drones back home after its military mission in Afghanistan ends. Instead, a UN rapporteur says the war machines will be used in other regions. RT's Sarah Firth joins us now live for more. Hi there, Sarah. So where did the UN representative get that information from?
Well, UN Special Rapporteur Ben Emmerson is today going to present a report to the United Nations Council of Human Rights. It's an ongoing inquiry that he's been carrying out for more than a year now, since January 2013, looking into the impact of armed drone strikes on civilian populations. Now, in an interview, he'd made comments saying that he expected that the UK's Reaper drone fleet will be redeployed at the end of their current deployment in Afghanistan to other countries, and he mentioned Africa and the Middle East. Now, the UK Reaper drone fleet is the only armed drone fleet in the UK, but they've recently doubled that fleet to 10. And as we said, they're currently deployed in Afghanistan, but operated from an RAF base here in the UK. And of course, the UK is expected to have withdrawn from Afghanistan by the end of 2014. So the big question really is, where are these going to be operated next? And so that's why these comments from Ben Emmerson are attracting so much attention, I think. Now, the MOD have said that there have been no plans as to where the RAF Reaper drone fleet will be redeployed yet. But I think the emphasis really is on the yet, because they went on to say there could be a decision taken by the end of the year. Now, that, of course, if that decision was made to operate the armed drone fleet in countries such as Africa, in the Middle East, that would be really a major development, because it would appear another indication that the UK was following in the US footsteps, expanding their drone programme to operate in countries with which Britain's not at war and hasn't been at war, and all that taking place, it seems, with little or no public debate around the increased use of armed drones by the UK.
So, Sarah, if that report is true, would it mean that the UK sees drones as an effective tool?
Well, that's part of the debate that's taking place, and that's part of the evidence that's going to be presented to the UN today in this inquiry. Now, the research made note that the secrecy imposed by governments regarding drone strikes in countries such as Pakistan and Afghanistan is hampering the efforts to assess the impact on civilians. And so that report's going to really call on states to be much more transparent and to highlight the necessity of investigating wherever there are these claims of civilian casualties. Now, we do know that there are civilian casualties. The figures are always incredibly hard to come by. Of course, a huge amount of sensitivity around those operations. But this research really emphasising that it's crucial that there is that investigation taking place. And we actually spoke to part of the team that was involved in this research at Goldsmiths University here in London. We'll take a listen now to what they have to say about it.
We're always at a disadvantage when we're investigating drone strikes, because we never have access to the classified materials that the governments who perpetrate the strikes have to review the strike. And we never have access to the evidence which led up to the strike itself.
Well, I think the outcome of that report is very much going to be debated. It's expected that it will trigger a debate in the Council, and the submission calls for a draft resolution for the independent investigation of strikes and for countries to clarify their legal positions on this issue. And I think that's really the wider debate to be had here, is that, of course, countries such as the US and the UK that are using armed drones very much justify that by saying that they limit civilian casualties. And yet we know that we've seen from this research that civilian casualties have continued to grow. And so really there is the wider debate there about what the legal obligations are of the states using armed drones. And of course, in bigger terms, whether the UK should indeed be pressing ahead with expanding their drone programme.
RT's Sarah Firth live from London. Sarah, thank you very much indeed.